members, I'm going to be going over to you. So far, spoiler free, weigh in, give me a sentence. What you thinking? Bradley, is book good?
I loved it. I thought it was one of the best books I've read in the past year.
Now,
Yeah,
Bradley, this
it
is
really
your
got me.
first book with us.
Yeah, I used to watch your YouTube, and I joined your Patreon this month because you moved over to Maude's Book Club. Yeah, this is my first book with you guys.
How did you find reading? Did you listen to it? Did you get the book?
I like to do both. I read when I can, and then I listen when I'm doing other things because I have a newborn baby, so it's easier that way. I listened to this book a lot, a majority of it. So
what did you think of the narrator?
I thought it was really good. It kept me interested. Sometimes the narrators can bore me a little bit. In this case, it really grabbed me and it kept my interest. I loved it. I couldn't stop listening to it.
I love that. All right, so we're into it. You're on board with this. You've read half the book. Book good.
Book good.
Great. We haven't let you down yet. We're 1 for 1. Fantastic. Woo! Colleen, book good?
Yeah, I really like it. I'm having a little trouble, though. It always annoys me when people end up with all of these problems just because they won't talk to each other.
Yep. I predicted what you were going to say because that is a very frustrating thing. And I'm going to be breaking down the psychology of why these two are a perfect storm of non-communication and vulnerability. Nick, is book good?
Yes, book very good.
What are you loving?
I love it.
What you loving? And how far have you read?
I didn't read ahead.
You're good.
But I like it.
Thumbs up for everyone so far. KP Dubs, book good?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it so far.
Fantastic. It's another thumbs up. Lisa, book good?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Started a little late, but I was able to finish it on audiobook today.
You did?
Half of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a
I'm
ride.
really enjoying it. It's very easily read, I guess you could say, like easy listening for me on audio. I definitely am kind of glad I procrastinated because I definitely would have finished the book if I had started it earlier, I think.
I started like 3 weeks ago. I didn't stand a chance. Like, it was game over for me. Chris, who's in the Discord but has written it, says, look, it's not sci-fi or fantasy, as is our normal books tends to be, but book good. Slice of life is okay. And this book covers many topics: pain, friendship, grief, play, and nostalgia. I love that. Ropanda. Book was so very good. The narrator was a struggle for me to start, but eventually I settled into the way she was telling the story, and then I just listened to the whole thing. Stargirl says, a book good. Probably going to finish it in the next couple of days. Clever Girl says, I only read the first half and then entertained myself with several other books while I was waiting for book club, but I like to have it fresh in my mind, so I read it again the last couple of days. Toaster Poster says, book good, 3.5 out of 5. This book feels like a documentary for some reason. So what you're getting there is slice of life. Documentary kind of more focuses on the facts, whereas this slice of life, you get the feelings. And I think even if you don't love these characters or love how they interact, it's a voyeuristic take where you're watching their lives play out. And I'm so invested in it. Play the board, book good.
Good. I do like reading things that don't take place in reality. And this is a little bit too much from my reality. I spent a good portion of 2022 with an 11-year-old in a physical therapy hospital. And there was even this really great breakthrough involving 2 11-year-olds and an air hockey table. So the book is very, very good, but I actually put it in my freezer for a little while.
Fair enough.
Zoe and Rachel do on Friends when they have a scary book, but I was able to get it back out, and I have read up to the halfway point, and I am a real-life Gen Xer, so it is very, very fun for me once I got past that real opening stuff.
Sprinkles. Now, everyone said that they like this book. Do you think book's good?
Yeah, I think the book is good.
Yeah,
I would rate it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. Now, have you said that you stopped at the halfway mark?
Yes, I did.
You're excited to continue this one, though?
Oh, sure. Like I said in the Discord, it's kind of like a more serious version of the movie Just Friends.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's because they know each other. They've known each other for a while. They, and they always try to prove something, like, I'm going to be great. Look what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And this person's like, yeah, I'm doing this. And, for lack of a better term, a pissing contest. Like everyone said before, it's just best to communicate, because otherwise you're going to be left with miscommunication, and which leads to worse problems, in my opinion.
Tame Sue, Book good.
Hello. So yeah, I read it and maybe a few kind of structural flaws that stuck out to me a little bit but I was just astounded. Even though part of my mind was like, oh, it's not quite perfect, whatever, I was just completely blown away for two big reasons. One is there's just so much freshness and cleverness. I can't pick out exact passages, but just ways in which she's able to relate things to different situations. I mean, that has to do with the gamingness, but also because, and this is where, Maude, you just mentioned pulling parts of her own life. I don't think she has a game design background, but she's incredible at that. And I'm working in the game industry like you and a few other people here, but I'm also Asian, and I grew up in a neighborhood where most of the kids were either white, Asian. You said she's English, but she's actually, the character and her, I'm pretty sure, is half Jewish.
Half Jewish.
Asian, of course. Right, which is, of course, Sam is half
Sadie.
Jewish, and Sadie's fully Jewish. Right?
Yeah.
And is half Jewish. The thing that's amazing is all these communities are tiny minorities, right? The number of people who are Asian and Jewish, especially in the U.S., are small minorities. Game production is, especially in that tier, is very small. Going to Harvard is not relatable, but she makes them all kind of spellbinding. It is like the best thing I've read in a long time.
Wow.
Despite me thinking that, there's some stuff that's over the top or a bit tropey, or, she's just amazing, I think. So it's great.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
One of the themes of sort of racial bias I do want to go into, because both Sam and Marks have uniquely a racial bias against them in very different ways. And there's a quote from the book that I really want to break down with everyone, because I heard it for the first time and it stopped me in my tracks. And then I read it again and I was like, whoa, this is something that I really want to digest and break down with everyone. Thierry, you've read ahead, but the first half of the book, a little bit more than that. Is book good?
Yes, book is good and a little bit too real, because like Tiramisu, I work in VFX.
You sure
and
do.
Right now I'm living the crunch life. So yeah, I was listening at the book while doing overtime. I was like, I'm living the book right now.
Crunch, yes. But you also had your both sides, and now you've got your Ichigo moment. Kate, book good?
Yeah, book really good. I was just typing out. I felt the same thing as Colleen, with these characters just need to talk to each other. But I feel like it actually works in a way, because it feels very almost like a parasocial relationship where you transpose your own feelings onto someone else and assume that's what they're feeling, because you only have one side of a relationship when you don't talk to someone.
Oh, okay. I see the link you're trying to make. I, having experience with parasocial relationships, truly do think that trauma and self-worth are more attributed to not being able to express vulnerability.
I'm not saying that's the only thing. There's the part where Sadie is feeling very set aside, because it's like everyone thinks that Ichigo is Sam's game.
Yeah.
They don't think about her. And then she's like, well, Sam thinks that too. It's because she thinks it. But because they don't talk, she thinks that
she's
Sam
built her own
feels
narrative.
that too. Yeah, she fills her own narrative for him, right? Even though that's not how he feels at all. He's got his own. She's like, oh, he's not coming in the office because he's too good for me. But it's like, it's because he can't move.
Yeah. And it cuts to him having these phantom pains, throwing up violently. Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, no, he's just too lazy. He doesn't care about me at all. And it's like, check in on him. But then if she did check in on him, he'd be like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm not going to tell. Like, there was this moment, I was nearly through the book, where she finally shares how she feels. He's like, nah, enough's enough. Tell me. You've been mad at me for 2 years. I'm so sick of you being angry. I've got no idea what I've done. And she's like, you are the reason why I went back to Dove. You knew that I was depressed, having broken up with my ex-boyfriend. You knew that he was damaging for me. You knew that he was bad, and yet you needed Ulysses. So you forced me back in that relationship, to which I'm like, no one forced you to do shit. You have to be accountable for your decisions.